This is a key hub in Brazil's emergency response to the public health and malnutrition crisis among the Yanomami people. It's the indigenous health house known as Casai in the Amazon state of Roraima. About 700 Yanomami are here, counting patients and family members, all brought in from their reservations. We haven't been able to film inside Casai. There are concerns regarding patient confidentiality and a cultural resistance of the Yanomami as well when it comes to being photographed or filmed. Yanomami leaders allowed some pictures to be taken when the crisis came to light earlier this year to document the tragedy, but they later asked for the filming and photographing of their people to stop. CGTN was, however, encouraged to visit Casai without a camera. Their lodging quarters in the health house are not unlike these hammock clusters we'd seen days before in the state's Indigenous Assembly, but more crowded and appearing less healthy.
Questão de reforma, questão elétrica, questão hidráulica.
We need a full renovation of our electricity, hydraulic and sanitation systems. And we need more personnel, and not only people with technical skill, but also with a humanitarian will to deal with the indigenous people.
Not far away, in the Situation Room of the Emergency Operation Committee, officials discussed the challenge of reaching more distant villages. Their access not only hampered by thick jungle, but the continued presence of illegal gold miners. Speaking at an indigenous assembly earlier in the week, President Luiz Inacio Lula da Silva promised his government will be tough.
We have to assist thousands of indigenous people who live there and have been massacred by gold mines. I want to assure you, our government will remove all miners from the indigenous lands.
But this Yanomami leader echoed complaints we heard from several people at the assembly that parts of the armed forces seem to lack commitment to President Lula's mission.
Many of the military personnel are supporters of Jair Bolsonaro, and they think like the former president, particularly those in more distant areas, are actually creating difficulties. They are not helping the Yanomami.
The state of Roraima has a long history of gold mining, considered important enough to warrant a statue here in the capital, Boa Vista. It depicts a humble miner panning for the precious metal right in front of the governor's palace. This advocate for miners says this crisis has everything to do with foreign interests.
The world doesn't want to accept that an underdeveloped country like Brazil can hold such a wealth only for itself. So they use the cover of indigenous and environmental policies to take this away from Brazil, with the consent of Brazilians working against their own country.
President Lula has taken a tough stand on the gold miners invading indigenous lands and promised full assistance to the Yanomami. The question now is whether his government will commit the resources needed and has the long-term political will to see those promises through. Paulo Cabral, CGTN, Boa Vista, Brazil.